extinguishing, and they convert into unisex hairstylers or hairstyling salon.
Entonces, para mí era muy importante que este personaje estuviera envuelto en un mundo que generacionalmente no le pertenece, que es más el mundo de su madre, y que la casa y la peluquería fueran este espacio como de el pasado y la nostalgia.
And I was interested in displacing this character who is really placed in the past, who belonged in a world that was actually his mother's.
Y bueno, que todo este mundo estuviera envuelto en esta música y en este cine del pasado, ¿no? Este cine, todas las películas son filmadas entre los 40s y 50s, hay un par de los 70s, pero es como el cine como clásico mexicano y la música romántica mexicana como tradicional.
And both some sequences and some shorts of the movies are actually from the 50s, 60s, and some of them from the 40s, 50s, and any short there like from the 70s. And actually the music is the typical or classical music, and the movies or the cinema that is shown here belongs to the classic music in Mexico.
Yeah, because I also noticed in the beginning you think, oh, this is a film set a long time ago, but then there are a couple of details which you give it away already in the beginning. I noticed in the newspaper it says 2012, and at a certain point you also see TripAdvisor. So I found it very interesting how you start a little bit to give away the anachronism and like the playing with temporality in your film and trying to, like, the logic of time, you try to get away with it, correct? The logic of time, it's like a theme I see also recurring in your work, for example in Adam and Eve, where you try to put Adam and Eve in contemporary time. Where does this come from, this like fascination with time and the logic of time?
En general sí, en mi trabajo me gusta mucho el pasado, pero también me gusta mucho como trabajar estos mundos un poco atemporales que de repente pueden suceder, y siento que la peluquería es como uno de estos mundos que es una especie de pecera donde él se mueve y ve el mundo a través de la vidriera.
Generally I like to work the theme of time in this sense, in which is atypical from time, and I see, or I consider the barbershop like he's watching the world like if he was in an aquarium.
Y la idea también era tratar de que el personaje empezara en este proceso, poco a poco pudiera ir reconstruyendo su vida emocional. Él empieza en un momento como de duelo, o sea, por la muerte de su madre, y recuperar poco a poco y como irlo incorporando, digamos, a una realidad que estaba sucediendo afuera.
And my interest here, it was that the same character would work he could work the reconstruction of his own story through the barbershop.
Sí, es una persona que tenía mucho tiempo sin pensar en sí mismo, ¿no?
He was a person that spent a lot of time without thinking about himself and his emotional life.
Y quería como irlo incorporando como poco a poco, o sea, que hubiera un momento en que dudaras un poco de qué época es, ¿no? Aunque el exterior siempre tiene como esa referencia, porque estos mundos en México existen, hay ciertos huecos como de tiempo, ¿no? Son como una especie de portales temporales.
And I wanted to incorporate this character little by little in this time, because these kind of places still exist in Mexico, in which there is like a hole suspended in time.
Okay, but I'm interested. Can you personally identify with your main character? Like, are you also feeling? I think it's. Are you also? No, it's not working. Are you also sometimes
have this feeling of nostalgia and fascination with the past. Can you identify yourself with the character you?
No, creo que es como, hay cosas que a mí me preocupan o que me interesan, pero trato de que no sean cosas muy personales, muy directas, y trato de más bien abstraer un poco esos intereses.
Not really. There are some things that I get attached with it emotionally or I get interested in, but I try to abstract those emotions from the story.
Pero hay una parte de mi trabajo, o sea, una parte plástica, o sea, digamos, trabajo paralelamente una parte plástica en la que la memoria y los recuerdos y el pasado y la manera en cómo el cerebro humano trabaja los recuerdos que me interesan mucho.
But there is this aesthetic, the aesthetic part of my work which I am interested in, like for example the memory, and I try to work out the images.
Yeah, I saw.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw that very clearly. It was very interesting how you put that on the screen.
For me, yeah. What also struck me is the ending, because I was expecting, okay, he goes to Brazil, and then like the very first scene in Brazil, you see like the difference in the taxi, like it's very modern. But then still he goes to his new home, and it's kind of old-fashioned, and you still use the stylistic elements like the grain and black and white, and still, even in the end of the film, he still kind of used those elements of the past. So how did you see this character development in this way?
Para mí era muy importante que la película empezara pareciendo una cosa más naturalista, más de contemplación.
For me it was important to start the movie at the point in which it was more contemplative, like a point of observation.
Y que poco a poco entendiéramos en qué piensa un peluquero cuando no está haciendo nada.
And little by little to introduce the audience into the head of a barber. What is he thinking about when he's not doing anything?
Porque
quizá mi interés primero en este espacio, en la peluquería, es que siempre me intrigó mucho qué pasaba, o sea, por qué los peluqueros cuando no están cortando el cabello se quedan como en un limbo con la mirada perdida. Y siempre cuando paso por una peluquería siempre paso despacio y me asomo a ver si los encuentro en esa posición como de stand-by, como de quietos.
Because for me it was very intriguing the point in which every time I pass through a barber shop, I see that when a barber is not doing anything, they are like looking to the horizon. And I am always curious that every time I pass through one, to look inside of it, and I just have the feeling that maybe they're going to be in a kind of standby.
Y pensar en qué estará pensando, ¿no? O sea, quiero saber qué está pensando. Y entonces en esta película quería que empezáramos nosotros como observadores, y ya cuando le tuviéramos la confianza, poder entrar en su cabeza.
So I wanted to take the audience to the observation point and together with me figure out what this person is thinking, and a little by little to get into trusting the character and get to know what he could be thinking, or she.
Y tratar de, como ya a cierto momento de la película tenemos la referencia de qué le gusta, entonces traducirlo a cómo ve él su propia realidad cuando la imagina, ¿no? O cómo quisiera que fuera esa realidad.
And when we already get introduced on what he enjoys or what he likes, how he sees reality around him.
Okay, I see we have 5 minutes left, so maybe there are some people from the audience who would like to ask some questions. Anyone? Oh yeah, in the back.
In which way he was romantic?
Sorry?
In which way he was romantic?
In which way he was romantic?
Es una forma de considerar las emociones como una cosa primordial.
It's a way of defining emotions as something primordial.
Para mí era muy importante que la película fuera una especie de melodrama, como el melodrama clásico mexicano, pero desde otro punto de vista.
For me it was important to translate this movie into something melodramatic but in another time.
Porque el cine mexicano tradicional, el cine mexicano de la época de oro, es un cine basado en la exaltación de las emociones, del melodrama.
Because in Mexico you call it the golden age of movies, of the cinema. It's very important, the exaltation of emotions.
Y todavía vivimos con muchas consecuencias del melodrama.
And we still are living the consequences of that melodrama.
Y la ocultación de la información, que es una base del melodrama, en este personaje era como importante. Entonces él siempre vive añorando cosas y pensando que el pasado siempre era mejor.
So when some information is hidden from that character, he's always longing for things and maybe still believing that the past was better.
First, I wanted this football team, this Atlas team. Doesn't really exist, and it's really as bad as you.
Eso es autobiográfico.
Just to repeat the question, this gentleman is asking if this football team is really exist, Atlas.
Sí existe y sí son malísimos.
Yeah, they are real and they are really bad.
Y yo le voy al Atlas.
And that's my favorite team as well.
Y eso es muy difícil de sobrellevar.
And that's a very hard thing to carry on with.
So still you identify a little bit with this character.
Sí, bueno, algo tenía que contar, ¿no? Pero es una afición muy sufrida. El único campeonato que ganamos fue en 1951.
Yeah, but it's something that is like an emotion that is bittersweet, because that's something that I carry with me, and the only thing that we won, it was a championship in 1951.
I know I'm a fan of a club called ÖSK, Örebro SK. They never won the championship, never.
Okay, we have.
Then I thought, another question. This Barber, he's a very likable person at first, but then he starts collecting hair which is really, really creepy. And I get no really good explanation why he collects this hair from beautiful women. So.
Dice que la figura del peluquero le parece como que al principio le gustó, le cayó bien, pero que después le pareció un poco de mal gusto el que estuviera guardando el cabello.
Sí, bueno, para mí era como todo el tiempo el personaje le preguntan qué quiere hacer, qué le gusta, a dónde quiere ir, y él nunca tiene una respuesta para eso, ¿no?
During the whole movie you can see, or through the whole movie you can see that they ask the character what do you like, what do you enjoy, and he never really has an answer for that.
Porque es alguien que nunca ha reflexionado demasiado.
Because he is someone that he has never really stopped to reflect about it.
Y lo que él en realidad descubre que le gusta es cortarle el cabello a las mujeres. Y entonces de repente era como tener una pequeña parafilia con respecto, siempre se fija en el cabello de las mujeres, y tener una pequeña parafilia de decir, eso, pues creo que, o sea, nunca reflexionó sobre eso hasta Brasil, pero de repente decir, sí, eso es lo que quiero hacer, ¿no?
But maybe you later on realize that what he really, or the character also realizes later on that he really enjoys is cutting a woman's hair. So that relates him into what he really enjoys doing, but you learn later on that.
Y por eso al final en la peluquería en Brasil dice unisex.
And that's why later on in Brazil he's a unisex barbershop.
No, que es algo que en México él no se hubiera permitido hacer, ¿no?
And that's something that, for example, in Mexico wouldn't be allowed to do.
La barbería, o sea, la peluquería en México es un espacio muy masculino tradicionalmente.
Traditionally in Mexico, the barbershop is a very masculine space.
Okay, I think unfortunately our time is up, so I want to thank you again very much for being here.
Thank you so much.
Q&A.